Welcome to SVG-TV News for Friday, January 28, 2022. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. The government will be paying out thousands of dollars in income support for a number of vendors and small business owners across St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Speaking on Saturday this morning, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves said he approved the payments on Thursday. However, the Ministry of National Mobilization and Social Development will announce when the payments will be made. He noted that the monies were to be distributed late last year. However, there was a minor setback due to an administrative delay. Just over 311,000 EC dollars will be distributed between 803 vendors and small business owners.
Just want to indicate 91 persons would receive, these are persons at the tourism sites, the income support, they will receive $300 each. Then 491 school vendors would receive $200 each. And then 221 small business owners, non-farmers, they will receive $400 each.
Prime Minister Gonsalves said the level of support currently given to persons has never been seen in the history of SVG and is leading, as the Bible outlines, it is his responsibility to be his brother's keeper.
Never in the history of this country have we seen the extent of supports given to people. Of course, there are those who say, you guys make people lazy. People tend to forget what the book of Matthew teaches us, chapter 25. We must remember that it is said, but if you're hungry, I have to feed you. If you're thirsty, we have to provide a drink.
The World Food Programme, which has been on the ground here for more than 9 months, assisting with the recovery efforts from the volcanic eruption in April 2021, has given the commitment that it will continue to support programs that will benefit the poor and vulnerable in SVG. Head of Program of the World Food Programme Caribbean Multi-Country Office, Sarah Bailey, gave the assurance at the groundbreaking ceremony for the commencement of rehabilitation work at the site for the new Louis Bonnet home at Orange Hill in the North Windward area. Bailey, who was part of a visiting delegation along with the Japanese ambassador to CARICOM, said that the recovery efforts in SVG have been going well thus far.
People in need are able to meet their food and essential needs is at the heart of the work of the World Food Programme. WFP recognizes that the road to recovery is not a straight path, nor a short one. The World Food Programme remains committed to supporting the government and the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines on this journey to recovery and preparing for the risks to come. By strengthening emergency preparedness and response systems, social protection, and livelihoods.
The WFP head of program for the Caribbean noted that the most recent support to volcano-affected persons was the Christmas cash vouchers, which was rolled out successfully.
Support of the government of Japan and the people of Japan, a voucher program was carried out in December and January in partnership with the Ministry of National Mobilization that provided more than 18,000 people with access to food and essential items as they continue to settle back into their homes and attempt to regain a sense of normalcy. These vouchers totaled 1.5 million EC, in fact a bit more, and that's money that people can spend at a supermarket according to their needs.
The MyHaz VCT app, developed to help with observation of all types of hazards in SVG and for citizens to share information about these phenomenon, was launched today. Persons are encouraged to make use of the app and become a citizen scientist by capturing any hazards and upload a photo or video for verification by the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO. The UWI Seismic Research Center will also benefit from the information gathered, as explained by UWI Research Assistant Omari Graham.
Which will basically allow NEMO and other authorities on the back end to manage the information that goes out to the public. And also there's a MyHaz VCT portal. For some persons who may not have access to smart devices, you could still log into a browser and see the information that has already been put onto the app. So We think this is something that is very useful. It's definitely useful for persons who are managing risk, like the folks at NEMO, so they are able to send out information and receive information very quickly that could be verified and people could be kept out of harm's way.
There are 40 observations listed in the new app, which can be used when identifying hazards, giving a demonstration of the MyHaz VCT app and how it can be used. A research assistant with the UWI Seismic Research Center, Omari Graham, said that it is a simple process as it has 3 core components: the app, the manager, and portal.
So yes, it would definitely be useful. We have a landslide, earthquakes, volcanoes, a tsunami, and we have other observations. So that would cover anything else environmental. We want persons to register after they have downloaded the app. You need to register in order to post observations. You can download the app and view the observations, but in order to contribute, as in to submit observations, you must register.
Persons downloading the app must have an Android phone. Seismic engineer with NEMO, Kimroy Alexander, who will be managing the app, said verification of photos is a key part in ensuring the process runs smoothly.
Notification, as a manager, you could go and check it and verify it and then verify it at the same time. It's automatically to be active for 30 days. If after the 30 days, the event or the whatever the post was, it prolongs, then the manager could change the time frame and set it longer. But 30 days is how it's set in the app automatically. So after 30 days, it becomes inactive. Your phone, your device itself doesn't have to be on to do a geotag. Everything is done inside the app. Once you click the location, it brings up a map. You could zoom it out and then you could tap your location there and then it will just add a pin.
Director of NEMO, Michelle Forbes, who officially launched the app, is encouraging citizens to make good use of it.
Important that we continue to inform our citizens and our different generations on what the volcano can do, what it has done, and what can happen in the future. So we would have started out quite a few years ago working on this app, and the British Geological Survey and the various universities in the UK with the geologists working with that consortium would have partnered with the Seismic Research Center and of course NEMO in development of the app. And today we're presenting the app to you, not just an app that we control, but a way for the citizens and our community members to also share information about what they see happening in the community. They can share with us and we can actually see firsthand what is happening and be able to review and clarify and verify what is happening in the community, so first-hand information. We have used the app also to merge with the cap.cap, cap.cap, where we can actually send alerts. So the app, once you have downloaded this app, you'll be able to get the alerts once we disseminate it on the cap.cap.
Vincentian geologist with the UWI Seismic Research Center, Dr. Richard Robertson, commended developers of the MyHaz app, noting that it has been years in the making. He said that the app better prepares scientists and the country for natural hazards.
In an island setting in terms of enhancing resilience to natural hazards. And in looking at that feasibility study through discussions with BGS, it was decided to look at doing so using St. Vincent and Grenadines as an ideal location. There were a number of projects that were ongoing then, Sriva and others that we were involved in. And once we decided that, we had further consultation, both with Seismic and then with the National Emergency Management Organization. It was decided that in the context of St. Vincent and Grenadines, we couldn't have an app that just focused on volcanoes. So it was decided quite earlier on that we would focus on all the hazards that affect St. Vincent. So the app had to cater for landslides, flooding, windstorms, all of those kinds of hazards. So that it had to be multi-hazard from the get-go. It couldn't be just simply based on volcanoes.
Dr. Robertson said everyone should participate in knowing hazards as the benefits are far-reaching.
To invest in the app, and there was a project that developed, was funded through this mechanism that went from 2017 to 2022, where we are now, to develop this app. And it involved working with NEMO, working with Seismic and the BGS, and learning from projects that had gone before, building on all this work to develop this app. From the onset, it was clear that the development of the app would be done in collaboration, had to be done in collaboration with people on the island. And therefore, lots of workshops were held, lots of consultations were held with communities, with schools. There were school visits. We spoke a lot to all the people that we thought might use the app or might have the need for the app. And all of this happened between 2017 and 2019. And after each workshop, after each stakeholder consultation, the developers of the app in BGS gathered feedback and used this to change the functionality, usability, and the overall look of the app.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines has recorded another COVID-19 death, taking the death toll from the viral illness to 93. There are now 828 active cases with 10 recoveries for the reporting period. Some 21 persons are currently hospitalized, 5 fully vaccinated, 1 partially, and 15 unvaccinated. Persons who have contracted COVID and are experiencing post-COVID symptoms are being encouraged to seek medical care as soon as possible or go to the nearest polyclinic and get a HbA1c test done. The advice comes from Health Promotions Officer in the Ministry of Health, Shanika John, on NBC Radio. John noted that there are persons in SVG who have experienced COVID symptoms even after they tested negative for the viral illness.
So I want to encourage persons, as Sister Brown would have mentioned, to maintain good health and to try to seek care as it relates to post-COVID symptoms. One of the ways that you could do that to start off is by doing your HbA1c test, and that's a test that's available in St. Vincent and the Grenadines through our different polyclinics. Unfortunately, it's not something that we could do on a mobile drive because the machine requires a very cool area for it to be able to function. But if you go to your polyclinics and you can ask for an HbA1c test, that's a glucose test that measures your blood sugar for the last 3 months. So even if you had something sweet this morning or last night, it really gives you a good idea. And that's one of the best markers right now, especially for those persons who are diabetic, you think you might be pre-diabetic, or you have recently recovered from COVID-19.
Further discussing the issue of long COVID, nursing supervisor for the Georgetown and Kingston Health District, Sister Glendorine Brown, outlined some of the common long COVID symptoms being experienced by persons here.
Contracted COVID would recover within a few weeks, but some persons will tend to have ongoing conditions. They will continue to experience symptoms after they would have recovered. Right, so the most common one would be tiredness or fatigue, difficulty breathing or shortness of breath, and difficulty thinking or concentrating, what we call brain fog. Those are the 3 most common ones that we would see. But you could also have cough, you could also have chest pain, you could also have loss of smell or taste, you could have palpitation, which is pounding or fast beating of the heart. You can also have joint or muscle pain, problem with sleeping. You could have fever, dizziness, depression, or anxiety. So it's a wide range of symptoms that persons can have.
The nursing supervisor said the best way of protecting yourself from long COVID or post-COVID conditions is by not catching COVID, noting that if persons take the COVID-19 vaccines and follow all of the protocols, they will stand a good chance of not contracting COVID.
I did reinforce the importance of vaccination. If you can get vaccinated, you're eligible, you're within the age of 12 and above, you can get vaccinated. I would highly recommend that you get vaccinated. Also, you need to continue to wear your face mask, but wear it properly. It must cover your nose and your mouth, not just on you. Some people wear it, it's under their chin, it's hanging on one side. We have to wear it consistently and properly. Also, we need to maintain our distance. We need to avoid being in crowds and to keep our 6 feet apart. All right? And we need to wash our hands. Can't reinforce the importance of hand washing. And it must be with soap and water. If this is not present at the time, it is highly advised that you use a sanitizer, an alcohol-based sanitizer, so that you could use on your hands.
63,669 doses of COVID-19 vaccines have been administered here thus far. These include 34,130 first dose, 27,395 second dose, and 2,136 booster shots. The health nursing supervisor for the Georgetown and Kingston Health District used the opportunity on radio today to encourage more people to get vaccinated, noting that the Ministry of Health pop-up vaccination drives and caravans will continue this weekend.
So for this weekend, we'll be on both the windward and leeward side of the with our caravans, because people have been thinking that we have forgotten that we were doing this. So we coming to you. We probably reach as far as Sandy Bay on the windward side, and not so sure, but as far as we can also get on the leeward. So the caravan would be on Sunday, this coming Sunday. So we want you, if you would have already gotten your 2 doses of your vaccine and 6 months would have elapsed, we're encouraging you to come to get your booster shot this weekend. Don't miss it. Make sure you see the caravan, stop us, and we'll be happy to administer your vaccine.
The Health Promotions Officer, Shanika John, said that from the recent COVID stats, there is still a large number of persons who continue to test positive for COVID with the rapid antigen tests.
We've added a little bit more information. So a lot of persons have been asking whether or not they would continue to see update from the ministry, and the answer is yes. So we will continue to update our dashboard. There's a new format that's out. Most persons should have received it already. The media houses have it to be in particular. And so for the last set of numbers that we've seen, that those persons who are hospitalized, we have 21 persons. In terms of persons who are fully vaccinated, 5 of those, partially vaccinated 1, unvaccinated 15. So we're seeing those persons who are unvaccinated still trotting and still leading the way there. And that is also stressing the importance of vaccination in particular.
Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, January 27th, 2022. I am Rochelle Baptiste with the details. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves on the radio today said the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, predicts an economic growth of 8% for St. Vincent and the Grenadines this year, after a near 6% contraction that was predicted for 2021. PM Gonsalves remains hopeful for the best, especially with the challenges of 2021 due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the eruption of La Soufrière volcano.
2022, the expectations are that it's going to be better on the economic front. In 2020, our economy contracted by 3.6%. COVID, all the problems. Of course, outside of Guyana, that was the best performance in any CARICOM country. One of the reasons we did better than the others is simply because we didn't lock down, we didn't name curfew, we didn't state of emergency. We didn't do any of those things. And we kept things ticking over. In 2021, it's expected that we will improve. Then April came, the eruptions. But by June, all the agencies with which we interact, listen, we are on target this year for a 6% contraction. And then in the latter half of the year, things improved, so much so that by the end of the year, we were up 0.6, 0.7% for this year. It's projected that we'll have about 8% economic growth. That's what the IMF World Bank project.
The Prime Minister said 2022 promises to be a better year for a number of sectors and urged traditional marijuana farmers to reach out to the medical cannabis cultivators to enhance their interactions, as he is also expecting to see growth in the exportation of medical cannabis.
So this year promises to be a better year for construction, tourism, services. All of them, it looks as though we are seeing, we'll see a pickup. I expect to see more exports of medicinal cannabis. I want to use this opportunity to urge the traditional cultivators to enhance their interactions with investors who are doing a lot of heavy lifting in relation to the medicinal cannabis.
Industrial Relations and Research Officer of the SVG Teachers Union, Andrew John, claims there is a shortage of qualified teachers in schools across St. Vincent and the Grenadines due to the government's vaccination policy, which he said caused over 200 teachers to lose their jobs. John, who was addressing a news conference hosted by the SVG-TU on Tuesday, said with the shortage, they are concerned about students who will be doing their exit examinations, including CPEA, CSEC and CAPE, noting that it will be difficult to prepare students adequately for the upcoming exams.
It's a shortage. We have created a shortage of teachers from the tertiary level right down to the primary level. Because at the tertiary level, you have removed some of the tutors, some of the lecturers who would have been working at the well-qualified persons would have been removed from the system without consideration for replacement. So we have there is a vacuum there which is difficult to fill, a void which we will not have filled in this examination cycle. And so a number of children, just last week I read in the papers where a student from the college was saying she's suffering from lack of tutors, from lack of lecturers. And I know many of us would have read that. And that is in fact the reality that we are in, right? We have a number of our secondary schools. They are short-staffed, and I think they have tried to answer the call by saying that they would be rehiring retirees.
John also noted that since the reopening of school, there's been several disruptions in the school system due to COVID, which is an indication that even as teachers are vaccinated, the workplace is still not safe as new infections continue to be recorded.
Schools were reopened in full on the 3rd of January. And since that time to now, we have seen severe disruptions in our school system, the way it is supposed to operate. For one, we have had a number of outbreaks in some of the schools, so much so that many of them have either gone back online or they are barely holding on, maybe to save face. They are barely holding on because the population of the student population has been cut sometimes more than in half. The teachers, the teaching population itself have been severely affected. So much so that some principals have been asking to go online, but the ministry has been refusing to permit them to go back online, right? So we see the situation which has developed. The schools are just barely functioning.
In December last year, a number of teachers who did not take the COVID-19 vaccine or did not receive an exemption based on medical or religious grounds were given letters that deemed them to have abandoned their jobs. The government then moved to hire over 200 persons for teaching temporarily. However, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves had indicated that if those who are considered to have abandoned their jobs go and take the vaccine and their post is not yet filled permanently, they can be re-employed. In other news, crime in SVG decreased in 2021 when compared to the previous year. Given some statistics on the radio this week during the Police on the Beat program, Commissioner of Police Colin John said that they recorded a 14% decrease in crime, moving from 5,147 in 2020 to 3,833 in 2021.
For murder, we had this decrease was not that significant, and it's something that we have to work on. We had 34 in 2020. In 2021, we had 31. As I said before, that is something that we, as police officers, we have to work on, because we have to ensure that St. Vincent and the Grenadines is not only safe, but it appears to be safe.
Commissioner John attributes the decrease to patrols across SVG and the support from the public.
Implemented some measures. Among them, we have increased the patrols. There are some of the units that were engaged in what we call static duties. They have been freed up, so they're able to conduct patrols in different areas. We have had more input from the members of the public in terms of giving information. Additionally, members of the public were better behaved, if you for want of a better phrase or terminology. So that also assisted. So I don't want to say, well, it is all because of what the police did, but the public, they themselves, played a significant role in ensuring that the crime situation or the crime stats were reduced.
The police commissioner said keeping the crime rate down is important to promote SVG as a tourism destination, and everyone needs to play their part.
In a lot of cases, the perception can be worse than the reality, and we do not want St. Vincent and Grenadines to be perceived to be an unsafe place. Policing and security is integral to the national economy and ensuring that St. Vincent and the Grenadines prosper as a nation. If the persons in St. Vincent and Grenadines act contrary to that and exhibit significant antisocial behavior and proliferate crimes, then all the advertisement and the promotion done by the tourism department and other persons about St. Vincent and the Grenadines can go to naught. So, as police officers, we have to know our role.
A series of training workshops for fishers throughout St. Vincent and the Grenadines on safety at sea, hosted by the government in partnership with the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization, the FAO, was officially launched today. A number of fishing equipment and communication devices were also handed over to the Fisheries Department today, which will be distributed to the fishermen taking part in the training workshops. The workshops and equipment are made possible through the Climate Change Adaptation for the Eastern Caribbean Fisheries Sector. The CC4 Fish Project in fishers will be given the opportunity to continue to develop the necessary skills and competencies to enable them to optimize the potential of the fishing industry. Speaking at the official opening ceremony, local representative of the United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization, Dr. Colleen Phillips, listed the number of fishing gears that would be handed over to the fishermen after the 2 days workshop. Dr. Phillips said that it is a pleasure to be handing over the fishing equipment to local fishers, as safety at sea should be a top priority for everyone.
Life vests, radios, compasses to you, the fisher folk. Safety first is what anyone who works on the sea should see as priority and keep in mind. Safety must be given absolute top priority. We are all aware of the circumstances when we fail to remember that the fishing industry is probably one of the most dangerous of jobs when considered with others in the world. Proper safety measures would save lives, protect vessels from damage. It would prevent serious accidents and injuries, protect the environment, and contribute to a profitable fishing industry.
Chief Fisheries Officer Jennifer Cruikshank-Howard gave an overview of the CC4 Fish Project, which she noted was launched in Barbados in 2017. She said that the training should have started 1 year ago, but there were several postponements due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the eruption of La Soufrière volcano.
At the workshop, work plans were developed and presented by member countries, partner organizations, and key stakeholders. Our key stakeholder there at the time was the Caribbean Network of Fisherfolk Organization. They were the ones who represented the fisherfolks of the region. As field activities as part of the work plan were designed to ensure increased resilience and reduce vulnerability to climate change impacts in the Eastern Caribbean fisheries sector. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as part of its work plan, included the training of fisherfolk in safety at sea. Over the years, the Fisheries Division has been tooling the stakeholders of the fishing industry to assist them in the operations of their businesses through grants, duty-free concession, training, capacity building, and other events.
Cruikshank-Howard encouraged the fishermen to take advantage of the safety equipment that would be handed over to them, especially the communication devices. She further noted that the NTRC will be offering free licenses for the radios that will be handed over to the fishermen.
Fishers, please utilize these equipment wisely. In recent times, we have been having persons going to sea, cannot make contact with their loved ones when they cannot get home on time. And we have our radios, we also have our GPSs and life jackets to assist you in making sure when you go to sea, you are well equipped. We know each person here after the training, they will be getting a number of these supplies. Please carry them to sea, utilize them. We have the NTRC who will be with us. If not today, tomorrow, who will be doing some more demonstrations. They will be giving us some free licensing of the radios. They will be doing that for us free at this time. We only want you to have them so that you can utilize them. We have had in the past, persons didn't utilize them because they were not licensed, but NTRC has a program in place that they're going to assist us, and we are grateful.